What if the most peaceful fish in your aquarium was never peaceful at all? There's a fish that doesn't swim like the others. It moves with purpose, as if every inch of water already belongs to it. People call it the angelfish, but that name is the first lie, because what you're about to learn will make you question that name forever. It's elegant, almost sacred in its movement. For over a century, people believed it came straight from heaven itself. A creature so calm, so graceful, that even chaos seems to slow down in its presence. You've seen it 100 times before, in pet shops, in beginner tanks, in magazines, and yet you've never really seen it, because what you think is serenity is actually strategy. Behind that name, behind those slow, divine movements, hides something few people ever notice: the mind of a predator, the patience of a hunter, and the instincts of a survivor shaped by one of the harshest environments on Earth. It doesn't chase, it doesn't roar, it doesn't fight for attention. It waits, it observes, it calculates. And when the moment is right, when everything else moves too fast to think, this fish moves slower and wins. The angelfish is a paradox, a contradiction, both beauty and calculation. People buy it thinking it's peaceful, but wait until you see what it does when another fish crosses its invisible line. That moment, when the angel shows its shadow, we'll get to that soon, and trust me, it will change how you see every so-called gentle species you've ever owned. Because the truth is, the angelfish doesn't belong to the world you think it does. It isn't just a community fish, it's a cichlid, part of the same royal bloodline as Oscars, discus, and even the mighty frontosa. But unlike its African cousins, it doesn't rule through strength. It rules through presence, through silence, through the art of stillness. Every move it makes is deliberate, like a painter's brushstroke on black canvas. It doesn't waste motion, it doesn't reveal intent. That's why even experienced aquarists underestimate it. They see calm where there's calculation, they see peace where there's dominance, they see an angel where nature designed a strategist. But here's where things get interesting, and you'll want to remember this part, because later in this video, when we talk about their breeding rituals, you'll finally understand why these creatures were named angels, and why, under the wrong light, they can become something entirely different. This isn't just another fish video. Over the next few minutes, you're going to see what no beginner guide ever tells you: how a species that looks so innocent, so holy, carries within it every trait that defines the cichlid family: intelligence, loyalty, power, and yes, territorial rage. By the end, you'll understand something few fish keepers ever realize: that the angelfish is not just a decoration, not just a name, not even a pet. It's a mirror, a reflection of balance between light and shadow, patience and control, beauty and survival. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll discover the secret reason they glide the way they do, the true purpose of those tall fins, and the one behavior that has made scientists rethink what peaceful really means. And once you know, you'll never look at your aquarium, or any fish, the same way again. Let's start where all angels are born, the Amazon. But not the Amazon you see in travel magazines or nature posters, not the bright postcard rivers filled with parrots and sunshine. No, I'm talking about the blackwater realm, a world of shadows, roots, and silence. In these forgotten streams, sunlight barely touches the ground. The water is dark, almost like tea, thick with tannins from the endless fall of leaves and bark. Every drop carries the memory of the forest above. And inside that darkness, the angelfish learned how to disappear. It didn't need to outrun danger. It simply became invisible. Tall, thin, vertical, a living shadow sliding between the branches and roots of drowned trees. Those long fins you see in aquariums today weren't made for beauty, they were made for stealth. And those black bars across their bodies? They're not patterns, they're armor made of illusion. They break the outline of the fish so completely that even a predator staring right at it can't tell where one fin ends and another begins. In that murky water, survival depends on blending in, on moving slowly, on not being seen. But here's the part that most aquarists never realize. When you take this fish out of that world and place it into bright, sterile aquarium light, something strange happens. Those bars fade, the silver turns pale, the fish looks nervous, almost lost. It's as if it's been stripped of its armor. Why? We'll get to that soon, because that fading isn't just about light, it's about fear. Fear that it's no longer hidden. Fear that the world can see it now. Think about that for a second. A creature that evolved to live unseen suddenly living in constant visibility. How would you react if you couldn't hide anymore? Later in this video, we'll talk about how that very reaction, the loss of camouflage, affects their behavior, their stress levels, and even their health. But for now, remember this. The angelfish was not born in color. It was born in shadows, and every graceful move it makes in your aquarium is a whisper from that dark world it came from. The angelfish belongs to the great cichlid family, but while its cousins conquered their worlds through power and aggression, this one mastered something far rarer: restraint. It doesn't rush, it doesn't waste, it doesn't panic. It studies. Every flick of its fin, every turn of its body has meaning. It's a predator that learned to survive by thinking, not by fighting. That's why aquarists often call it peaceful. But that's only half the truth. Because peace is not its nature, it's its disguise. Watch one closely. Notice how it moves through the tank like it owns the space but never announces it. How it stares for seconds longer than seems normal, as if reading the intentions of every creature around it. That stare isn't curiosity, it's calculation. It's the same instinct that once helped it outwit piranhas and knifefish in the Amazon's flooded forests. Still waters are deceptive, and the angelfish knows how to use silence as a weapon. Have you ever seen two angels face each other, fins flared, motionless for minutes at a time? No movement, no sound, just tension. That's not beauty, it's dominance, expressed through patience. And when that invisible line is crossed, when another fish drifts too close to the leaf they've claimed as home, everything changes. The mask of serenity drops, the body stiffens, the fins expand like a warning flag. And then, in one quick strike, the angel reveals its true bloodline. That's the moment you realize you were never watching a peaceful fish. You were watching a strategist, one that knows when to act and when to wait. We'll explore that moment in more detail later, because understanding this behavior explains why some angelfish thrive in groups, while others slowly destroy their own. And once you see it, you'll never trust that calm stare again. In the wild, there are three main species of angelfish: Pterophyllum scalare, Pterophyllum altum, and the elusive Pterophyllum leopoldi, three branches of the same elegant bloodline, each shaped by a different corner of the Amazon. The altum, the tallest and most majestic, comes from the Orinoco River, where the water is soft, acidic, and endlessly deep. It's the true angel of the family, reaching nearly 15 inches from fin tip to fin tip, its body like a living sail drifting through brown gold light. But here's the catch. Beauty this fragile doesn't forgive mistakes. Most altums caught from the wild die within weeks in the wrong water. 8 out of 10 never survive the transition from jungle silence to glass confinement. Later in this video, we'll uncover the one secret method expert breeders use to keep them alive. And it's not what you think. Now look closely at the angelfish itself. It isn't just alive, it's performing. Those fins aren't for movement, they're for expression. They stretch and sway like silk curtains caught in a slow breeze. The fish doesn't swim, it floats. Every turn is measured, every glide deliberate, as if it's aware that you're watching. That's why so many aquarists call them living art, because when you see one in still water, time seems to pause around it. But elegance always comes with a price. Those long fins, those delicate threads of tissue, tear at the smallest touch. Place them with barbs or with hyperactive tetras, and you'll see the transformation. The angel becomes a ghost. The fins fray, the confidence fades, and that majestic posture collapses into fear. And once an angelfish loses its confidence, it rarely regains it. Later in this video, I'll share the simple compatibility rule that saves hundreds of aquarists from heartbreak, and it has nothing to do with species charts or aggression levels. For now, remember this: the angelfish survives through grace, not force. It wins by patience, not by power. But beneath that elegance still beats the heart of a cichlid. And in a few minutes, you'll see what happens when that heart finally remembers what it truly is. In the wild, everything that moves too fast dies too soon. Quick movement attracts predators, but motionless grace, that's camouflage. When your angelfish hovers near plants, barely shifting its fins, it's not resting, it's calculating. Every second of stillness is an act of strategy. It watches, it learns, it remembers. That's the part most aquarists never notice. These fish think. They recognize faces, both human and fish. They know who feeds them, who disturbs them, who threatens them. There have been studies proving they can distinguish between familiar and unfamiliar humans, reacting differently to each. But you don't need science to see it. You feel it every time it locks eyes with you through the glass. That isn't instinct, that's recognition. They learn your rhythm, when you approach, when you feed, when the lights turn on. And once they learn it, they adapt to it. But memory comes with a cost, because memory brings emotion. They form bonds, real bonds. When two angels choose each other, it's not random. They synchronize their movement, their feeding, their breathing. They guard one another. They share space, something cichlids rarely do. But that connection isn't fragile. It's absolute. And that's what makes what happens next so hard to watch. Because when that bond breaks, and it will, under the wrong stress, something ancient wakes up inside them. The patience vanishes. The calm shatters. And the same fish that once stood beside its partner now sees an enemy. Why does it happen? What triggers that change from devotion to destruction? We'll get to that later when we talk about their breeding behavior. But remember this moment, because when you see it unfold, you'll understand that the angelfish isn't just intelligent, it's emotional. And emotion in nature can be both the gift that builds and the instinct that destroys. Two angels cleaning a leaf, side by side, moving in slow unison. Their fins sweep dust away like soft brushes on glass. They pick a single leaf, a rock, or even the side of the tank. And in that small, sacred space, life begins. The female lays her eggs in perfect rows, each one placed with the precision of an artist painting by instinct. The male follows closely, fertilizing each egg like a craftsman sealing his masterpiece. Together, they guard their creation. They fan the eggs with gentle movements of their fins, circulating oxygen through the tiny translucent shells. They remove the ones that die and protect the ones that live. It's devotion in its purest form, a partnership that feels almost human. Watch them long enough and you start to believe in loyalty again. But then, something changes. Sometimes it's a flicker of light. Sometimes a sudden vibration in the water. Sometimes nothing at all, just silence breaking. The female twitches, the male stiffens, and the perfect harmony collapses into chaos. One turns on the other. The protector becomes the aggressor. The dance of devotion turns into a storm of violence. And in seconds, everything that looked like love becomes survival. It's brutal to witness, especially if you've seen them guard their fry together just days before. But this is nature's law. Instinct always wins over emotion. The angelfish's brain can't afford doubt. When stress, fear, or confusion strikes, logic disappears, and the one that moves first lives longer. Why it happens depends on more than one thing. Maybe the water shifted, maybe oxygen dropped, maybe hormones spiked from a perceived threat. We'll explore that later because what happens after the fight, the part no one talks about, will change the way you see them forever. Because sometimes, even after the storm, they return to each other. Sometimes after the violence, they rebuild the bond as if nothing happened. And that's what makes it haunting. How something so fragile can break and yet somehow find its way back to trust. But remember this moment, because the next time you see two angelfish guarding their eggs, you won't just see a breeding pair, you'll see a living paradox. Love and instinct, devotion and destruction, all playing out in slow motion beneath the surface. Angelfish are ambush feeders, patient hunters shaped by slow water and long shadows. In the wild, they wait beneath floating leaves or tangled roots, motionless, almost invisible. Tiny crustaceans drift past, insect larvae fall from above, small fish wander too close, and that's when it happens. A flash, a burst of precision. They strike like lightning, then vanish back into stillness as if nothing moved at all. It's not speed that makes them deadly, it's timing. They've mastered the art of patience, waiting until the exact heartbeat when instinct says now. But in captivity, that instinct can turn against them, because here food falls from the sky, whether they earn it or not. Overfeeding, the silent killer of angels, slowly destroys what evolution built. Their digestive rhythm isn't made for abundance. It's made for scarcity, for discipline. Feed them too much and you disrupt that rhythm. Toxins build, organs strain, balance breaks. Small meals twice a day, that's the rhythm of survival. High-quality flakes, sinking pellets, bloodworms or brine shrimp. Nothing heavy, nothing greasy. Appetite tells you everything you need to know about an angel's health. If they refuse food, something's wrong. Always listen to that silence. Later in this video, I'll share a method that South American breeders use to trigger color, growth, and even spawning simply by changing one feeding habit. You'll be surprised how little it takes to restore nature's rhythm. Now let's talk about water, the element that defines their fate. In the wild, angelfish live in liquid glass, soft, acidic, tinted by the forest. pH between 6.0 and 7.0, Temperature steady at 78 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. But here's the truth that most aquarists overlook. Perfection doesn't matter. Stability does. Wild angels live where nothing changes. The moment water parameters swing, their bodies panic. If you've ever seen your angel hiding in a corner after a water change, that isn't shyness, it's trauma. Their senses detect pressure, chemistry, temperature, changes so subtle we can't feel them, but they can. And when that stability breaks, fear takes over. Soon we'll go over a breeder's trick to perform water changes safely for Altums without triggering that invisible panic that kills so many. Now imagine their home, not a wide river, but a tall forest underwater. That's how their bodies evolved. Vertical, not horizontal. So when you build a tank for angels, think height before length. Fill it with plants that stretch upward. Amazon swords, Vallisneria, even floating roots. Keep the light soft, never harsh. A bright tank makes them anxious. A dim one makes them regal. A gentle flow, a dark background, that's their cathedral. And under a faint blue LED, when the room goes silent, something magical happens. Their bars fade, their fins turn glassy. They look less like fish, more like spirits. Stay till the end, because I'll show you how to recreate that haunting glow. A sight that every aquarist should witness at least once. But peace never lasts forever, not even for angels. When too many males share one space, the stillness turns electric. Fins rise, bodies freeze, eyes lock. For minutes, nothing moves, until one lashes sideways, striking like a whip. Scales tear, pride shatters, and then silence returns. No chase, no noise, just law. Add a new fish, rearrange a rock, disturb their order, and everything resets from zero. That's when you learn the real truth about them. They're not peaceful, they're disciplined. They don't fight for rage, they fight for balance. Because in their world, survival isn't about strength, it's about control. Remember that violent pair from earlier? Here's why it happens. Stress twists instinct. When oxygen drops or the pH drifts, when noise breaks the rhythm or light strikes too harshly, the male's protection turns into aggression. He doesn't hate the female. He defends what his brain thinks is under attack. Fear reshapes love into violence. It's tragic, but it's nature's mathematics. Survival always takes priority over affection. Yet stability and dim light can undo that chaos. Give them silence, shade, and patience, and you'll see something almost holy. Two angels, side by side, fanning their fry for hours, their fins moving like breath. Watch that once, and you'll never call them just fish again. So why call them angels? Because when they glide through still water, light slicing across their fins like glass wings, you understand. They embody what we've lost: patience, stillness, grace. They remind us that power doesn't always need to shout. Sometimes it whispers, but even angels can fall. When balance breaks, when comfort turns to fear, their wings become blades. They reveal the other side of creation, ruthless, territorial, merciless. Heaven and hell sharing the same body. That's the paradox of the angelfish. Beauty built on discipline, peace sharpened by instinct. Should you keep angelfish? Only if you're ready to offer height, softness, and calm, ready to learn their language, silence, posture, light. Because in this tank, peace isn't given, it's earned. And if you're patient enough, the reward is poetry. Every inch of glass becomes a cathedral, every ripple a hymn, every feeding a ritual. You're not keeping a fish, you're keeping a fragment of the Amazon's soul. Later this year, we'll dive deeper into their relatives, the Altum angels, and reveal why even experts struggle to keep them alive. That story will change how you see fragility itself. But before you go, ask yourself this: how many videos truly respect your time? Here, every second means something, because our stories aren't just about fish, they're about patience, balance, and life itself. We respect the fish, we respect the craft, and above all, we respect your time. If you enjoyed this journey, don't stop here. Explore our documentaries about the mysterious world of Malawi and Tanganyika cichlids, species that redefine what intelligence and beauty mean underwater. Because here we don't just show fish, we uncover what they mean. We explore the unseen, the silent, the beautiful, and the brutal. And remember this, we are not a channel chasing millions of views. We don't care about numbers, algorithms, or trends. What we care about is truth. The truth behind behavior, instinct, and emotion. Dark Cichlids was never meant for everyone. It was made for the few who truly want to understand the soul of these creatures, those who see more than movement, who listen to silence, who believe that even under glass, there is meaning. So if you're one of them, welcome. You're in the right place. We are Dark Cichlids, and this is only the beginning. See you in the next one.